new ideas. Around the 6th century BC, there were a number of evils being practiced in the Aryan society, which were disliked by the common man. Religion was not simple and had become very complex. The expensive rituals and sacrifices could not be afforded by the common man. They found it too difficult to pay for the rituals and sacrifices. Animal sacrifices had increased, and the people were against this. The language used while reciting the mantras was Sanskrit, which could not be understood by the common man. It was basically only the Brahmins who knew Sanskrit. The caste system had become rigid. Now, people could not change their caste as the castes became hereditary. The upper two classes had started thinking that they were superior to the others. Now the thinkers like Gautam Buddha and Mahavir introduced new ideas and principles and tried to do away with the evils which had crept into the Aryan religion during the later Vedic age. Vardhaman Mahavir. Mahavir was the 24th and the last guru or Tirthankar. He was not the actual founder of the religion. Rishabdev was the first Jain Tirthankar. Mahavir reformed and refined the religion and laid the foundation of an organized Jain religion. Mahavir was born into a royal family in 540 BC in Kundagram, Vaishali. His childhood name was Vardhaman. His mother Trishula belonged to the royal family of the Lichavi clan, and his father was a chief of Janatrika clan. Mahavir was married and had a daughter. At the age of 30, he gave up all the comforts and luxury of home and became an ascetic. He wandered from place to place for years, practicing severe penance at times. After a period of 12.5 years of such a several lifestyle, he finally attained supreme knowledge and came to be known as Jina, one who has conquered his senses, and thus his followers are called Jains. Principles or teachings of Jainism. In the 7th century BC, the basic ideas of Jainism were propagated by the holy men called Tirthankaras or Arihants. Mahavir gave the final shape to the ideas propagated by the Tirthankaras and popularized them. Altogether, there were 24 Tirthankaras. The teachings of Jainism are as follows. A. No belief in God. Mahavir did not accept the existence of God as the creator of the universe. B. Ahimsa. Mahavir believed in the philosophy of non-violence or ahimsa. He asked his followers to avoid causing harm to any living being. Jains recognized that all living beings have souls, and their right to life should always be protected. C. The 5 basic vows. Number 1. Satya. Always speaking the truth. Number 2. Ahimsa. Non-injury, non-violence. Number 3. Asteya. Not stealing. Number 4. Aparigraha. Not collecting possessions. Number 5. Brahmacharya. Chastity. Karma and rebirth. Mahavir believed that there is a cycle of life and death. According to him, one takes birth again according to one's karma. Therefore, one must perform the right karma. No caste system. Mahavir was against the caste system and believed in the principle of equality. He felt that salvation could be attained by the people of all castes. salvation. Jainism has strict rules to be followed. It believes in vigorous penance and demands austerity. There are a large number of Jainas today. Though Jainism is not as strict as must be a part of spread of Jainism during Mahavira's time. The aim or goal of life is to crack this cycle of birth and death by attaining moksha or salvation. He felt that three ratnas or three jewels were very necessary for this. These three jewels are termed as the threefold path. They are A. Right faith, B. Right action, C. Right knowledge. Mahavir also advocated hard penance and fasts along with the above mentioned path. Spread of Jainism. Mahavir did not use Sanskrit but taught in the common language Prakrit. He himself travelled great distances spreading his ideas. Soon, he gained a large number of followers, including Bimbisara and Ajatasattu, rulers of Magad, and thus got royal patronage. Mahavir started a sect or order which spread all across the country. Soon, Jainism had spread from the east to south and West India, including Karnataka, Orissa, Odisha, Gujarat, and Rajasthan. Causes of the spread of Jainism. A. Mahavir's teachings were very simple to be followed by the common man. B. Mahavir preached not in Sanskrit but in the common language of the people, which could be understood and followed. C. The order that was organized to spread the teachings of Jainism had dedicated disciples. They went around from one place to another spreading Mahavir's message. D. Mahavir did away with the expensive rituals and sacrifices, and now the religion became inexpensive. The message of equality spread by Mahavir also helped Jainism to become very popular. Subsections of Jainism. Differences between the followers led to the formation of two sects about 200 years after the death of Mahavir: Shvetambaras and Digambaras. Shvetambaras, or white clad, used a white cloth to cover their mouth and did not believe in severe penance. Digambaras, or sky clad, who roamed around naked and followed the original principles of Mahavir, were very strict and lived a hard life of penance. Contribution of Jainism. Literature. Lord Mahavir's preachings were orally compiled by his disciples into many texts called sutras. Collectively, these texts are called agamas. These are originally written in Prakrit. Later, several dialects developed from Prakrit like Pali, Magadhi, Saurasani, Hindi, etc. Architecture. Jainism has been amongst the foremost contributors in the field of art and architecture since early days. Its architecture icons can be seen in the rock-cut caves in Mathura, Bundelkhand, Madhya Pradesh and Odisha. Udaygiri and Khandagiri are rated for their natural and artificial caves. Rani Gumpha and Hathi Gumpha cave monasteries are art treasures of sculptures and relief. Shravana Bela Gola is famous for its gigantic statue of Bahubali. The Dilwara temple at Mount Abu in Rajasthan shows excellent workmanship. Decline of Jainism. A. Lack of royal patronage by princes of later times. B. Lack of missionary zeal and sincerity of Jain mendicants. C. Severity of Jainism made the people disillusioned. D. Unclear philosophy like stone, water, and tree having a soul left the followers confused. E. Division in Jainism after the death of Mahavir took people away from it. F. Spread of Buddhism with simple and intelligent philosophy diverted people from Jainism. G. Hindu preachers like Shankaracharya and Ramanuja began to deepen Hindu foundation. Gautam Buddha. Buddhism was founded by Gautam Buddha, who was earlier called Siddhartha. Siddhartha was born in 563 BC in Lumbini near Kapilavastu to the chief of the Sakya clan. So, Buddha is sometimes called Sakyamuni. His mother died when he was a child, and his father tried his best to keep Siddhartha happy and away from all the sadness. Siddhartha was married to a beautiful princess, Yashodhara, and had a son called Rahul. Foresights. One day, Siddhartha was out in his chariot and saw an old man, a sick man in pain, and a dead man. Seeing these, Siddhartha realized the sufferings of man. He also saw a monk who seemed to be at peace. This made Siddhartha wonder, what was it that made the monk so peaceful? These foresights had a profound effect on Siddhartha, and he left home to find a way out of sorrow and sufferings. At the age of 29, Siddhartha left the comforts of life in search of truth. This is known as the Great Renunciation or Mahabhiskramana. He spent time with hermits. For about 6 years, he practiced strict penance, but this did not help him solve his problems. Siddhartha gave up penance and meditated under a peepal tree at Bodh Gaya. After meditating for about 49 days, he realized the truth. He saw a way out of sufferings and sadness. He attained enlightenment and came to be known as Buddha or Enlightened One. The tree under which he gained enlightenment came to be known as Bodhi Vriksha. Preachings. After enlightenment, Buddha preached his first sermon at the deer park in Sarnath to his 5 disciples. This event is called as Dharmachakra Pravartana or turning of the wheel of law. After this, Buddha travelled throughout the country spreading his message. He established a Sangh or an order made up of these monks survived on begging and hence are called monks, bhikshus and bhikshunis to spread his message in other parts of the world. Women could not join the Sangh without the permission of their husband. They went about from village to village spreading his message. Principles of Buddhism. Buddha's teachings were simple as he followed what may be called the middle path. He did not advocate harsh penance as required in Jainism and also was not in favor of the rituals and sacrifices of Hinduism. The 4 truths. Buddha pointed out 4 noble truths which can be summarized. A. The world is full of suffering. B. Man's desires are the main cause of his sufferings. C. Renunciation or giving up of desires can overcome suffering. D. Desire can be overcome by following the 8-fold path or Ashtangika Marg. Ashtangika Marg or 8-fold path. The 8 elements of Buddha's philosophy or 8-fold path are A. Right thought. B. Right speech. C. Right conduct or action. D. Right livelihood. E. Right effort. F. Right memory or recollection. G. Right belief. H. right meditation. According to Buddha, by following these elements, one can attain one's peace of mind. Karma. People's action, conduct, or karma was what influenced their life. Buddha was a firm believer in the theory in as you sow, so shall you reap. Ahimsa. Buddha was against causing harm to any living creature. He was against animal sacrifice. Buddha laid stress on the development of moral character. Buddha accepted the existence of the cycle of birth and rebirth. According to him, man's aim should be to attain nirvana or escape from the cycle of birth and rebirth. He stressed that man could attain nirvana by following the Eightfold Path. Casteism. Buddha was strongly against the caste system and stressed equality. People of all castes were accepted as his disciples.
Causes of spread of Buddhism.
He believed that ritualism and sacrifices do not lead to nirvana. He was against them. A. The simple teachings of Buddha in the local dialects attracted a number of followers. B. No belief in caste system and condemnation of all forms of ritualism and sacrifices also won over the people. C. He made religion simple and inexpensive. This greatly attracted the followers. D. Buddha and the Buddhist Sangh spread this message all over. E. More and more followers joined it as the middle path could be easily followed by the common man. F. Royal patronage helped to spread Buddhism. Ashoka, Kanishka, and Harsha made Buddhism popular. G. Buddhist universities at Takshila, Gaya, and Nalanda attracted students from far and wide. Later, these students also helped to spread Buddhism, among others, and other to countries like Sri Lanka, Nepal, Tibet, China, and Japan. Subsections of Buddhism. After the death of Buddha, Buddhism was divided into two sects, Hinayana and Mahayana. Hinayana means lesser vehicle. This sect continued with the original Buddhist philosophy and looked on Buddha as a guide and teacher. Mahayana means greater vehicle and considered Buddha as God. They even introduced many ceremonies and rituals. Buddhist literature. Buddhist teachings were compiled into Tripitakas or three baskets. They were written in Pali. Jataka tales are stories about the previous births of Buddha. Buddhist architecture. Cave temples, chaityas, and monasteries, viharas, were built all over India. The chaitya at Karle in Pune, Maharashtra, is an excellent monument of rock-cut architecture. The stupa, a dome-like structure, was built to enshrine Buddha's relics or built in memory of a particular event. The stupa at Sanchi was built to enshrine Buddha's relics. Cave temples at Ajanta and Ellora fascinate architects even today. Buddhist schools of art started making Buddha's statues in a number of styles. The images of Buddha made according to Gandhara school of art were very realistic, and the human form was depicted quite accurately.
They were made to look handsome like the Greek gods.
The Gupta school of art made the statues of Buddha with curly hair and emphasized the transparent drapery revealing the human form. Decline of Buddhism. A. Buddhist Sanghs became corrupt. Monks were drawn towards luxury and became materialist. B. Reformation in Hinduism made it popular again. C. Division among Buddhists began to keep people away from it. D. Lack of royal patronage after Harshavardhana led to its decline. E. Attacks by Hunna jolted Buddhism. F. Loss of missionary zeal because of internal rifts paved way for its decline. G. Rajputs could not tolerate the spread of non-violence. Buddhists feared persecution and thus fled from India. A. Both spoke about equality of man and believed in karma. B. Both spoke out in favor of ahimsa. C. Both emphasized the importance of good moral conduct. D. Both had organized monastic orders to spread their morals. E. Both were against rituals and sacrifices and did not give importance to the Vedas. F. Both rejected Sanskrit and preached in the regional language of the common people.
Buddhism versus Jainism. Buddhism. Buddhism believed in the middle path between hard penance and luxury. Buddha kept silent about God. Buddhism believed in ahimsa and did not want to harm living creatures. Jainism. Jainism believed in hard penance. Mahavir did not believe in the existence of God. Jainism believed in extreme ahimsa, covering their mouth with cloth so as to not harm living creatures floating in the air.